There we go, there we go, there we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another glorious event that we're going to host here at Logistical Nightmare Racing. This is round 2, Misano. And for everyone that has joined onto the stream, you'll probably be just as surprised as I am. So where we at this week after last week's beautiful time situation, and again the race was spectacular from all levels across the board. Today we're going to sit down where these boys will do a 20-minute free practice time, so we're going to have a look and see where they are, where everything is at, and of course it's time for me to also simultaneously just indulge and explore. I don't even know if I'm saying this right, but just look at the beautiful liveries that these boys have made. So 20 minutes of free practice. These guys can warm up their tire situation. Now, of course, after the free practice session, we will roll directly into the race event, which will take an hour in general. So a 60-minute long race, and the race details we've got lined up for today. Let's just see if there's any funny thingy-majigs that will pop up. So pit stop count is definitely needed today, so the boys will have to go into the pit box, do a pit stop. There is a mandatory fueling requirement, so they're gonna have to put in some juice for their cars. No tire change needed, but I do know, because there is so many fast paced corners, that tire wear is one of those things that will be probably at the back of the mind of every single driver here today. Now, for those that have popped into the stream, I'm gonna give you just a bit of a heads up on what has happened last week. So if you haven't really looked at the race replay, you'll probably catch that at the start of the stream, and I'll try and showcase that again as we head into before we head into the actual race itself. So let's just have a look. Where are we from a championship point of view? Just a glorious day. Tricks of the trade, tricks of the trade. Okay, now I'm back into it. My apologies. When you get too zoned into certain things, then it just gets way too much for individuals. So back on to the mix of the free practice sessions. I am going to take a bit of time just to showcase you where do we stand in the championship standings. So as we can read it at the present moment from our beautiful host simracing.gp, we have two class classifications running up and down the grid box. Now, of course, on the top of the log in the Pro Series, we have Henry Mayer, Musa, Fleming Bauer, and then, of course, Sorodio there in 4th position out of the 28 drivers that we currently running with. And then, of course, in the Pro-Am division, we have Ulrich de Jager currently in 1st place. He's followed by Hannes van der Sant in the Aston Martin, Dave Young also driving the Aston Martin, and then of course G Scruton in his BMW. So plenty of racing all across that does happen. It's kind of nice to see how these boys will do what they need to do. Now Paul Venter jumping on the stream just to make sure that I have all the right info on hand. Today we're doing apparently reverse grid per class as a starting point. Now I have no idea what that actually means, but okay, we'll see how that goes after the next 8 minutes or so. Of course, plenty of free practice going on here. The boys are really on track. If you can look at the times at the present moment, Bauer hitting it up there with his 34, so he seems to be the fastest man on track. Oh, just beaten there by Peterson. Musa, of course, is on point. We've got Frobler doing good 134s, and then of course Bueta also in the mix there with his 134.9. Mayer just topped the log with a McLaren again. So you can see as they warm up and stretch their legs, these times are getting increasingly faster and faster. as we go along. Now I want to see if I can find the Jager, who is the man that is leading the Pro-Am Championship at this moment with his Ferrari, driving for Griffin Sim Racing 3, currently getting out of the pit box, so he's gonna smash a couple of laps out there. Hasn't done anything at the moment, so again, it is the warm-up time, nothing serious to worry about for these Oaks. All they gotta do is just get their muscles flowing, blood flowing, pump it up, and then get ready for some action. Now the man chasing him down in the Pro-Am Championship is Van der Sant, as I've mentioned before, driving the Aston Martin. So far 13th quickest on the full grid. Now of course Pro-Am mixed here, so don't count your chickens before they hatch. But it definitely does give you an idea where he kind of might sit, depending on where we are with the whole grid. Now, as alluded on the stream, we're doing the reverse grid per class, which to me sounds very chaotic. I mean, just imagine how that works in all general. You got the man that was in first position last week, 2 weeks ago, now all of a sudden sits at the back of the grid and he's got to work his way forward. It does put it up for some interesting scenarios for a race championship, but we will work our way through it. And then of course we're going to go have a look at Dave Young. He's also the man hunting everyone down from the Pro-Am division. Of course, he will need to do quite a bit to see if he can catch up on Van der Sant, and then of course the Jager at the end of today. For the Pro division, we of course have Mayer that I need to find. Now if the cameraman allows me, I need to go get the man inspect. He will definitely be on the top of the grid. He is sitting in his pit box quite comfortably at the present moment, taking a relaxing moment. Musa on the other hand, who is the BMW driver for Project Vapor, sitting in second position. Now he's got a bit of work to do this week, outclassed by the McLarens last week. BMW in the mix. Now of course he was in squeezed between fellow F Bauer, who was in third place driving for Martian Racing, heading it up there in the spot. So for everyone that did have a moment, I'm gonna take a little scenario here and just give you a overview of what happened last week. If you haven't watched it at the beginning of the stream, just check it out. This was absolutely awesome. How spectacular was that? That was just a snippet of last week's race at Zolder. And of course, bringing it all down. Meyer led from the start. Musa was on top of him at the beginning, and they nearly collided at the chicanes. And for unknown reasons behind me, they just managed to keep it clean. 41 laps of racing. Meyer taking victory for the pro class, Musa in second, Bauer in third. I really wonder what is going to happen today. We got less than 2 minutes to go before we kick off the race. Now, of course, this is again just one of those times that I'm going to take a small break to see and revitalize all the nourishment I need in order to do what needs to be done. So take a moment, kick back for 2 minutes, grab your alcoholic beverages, your water, your drinks, your snips, your snacks, because this is going to be excruciatingly exciting. Back in the mix again. Thank you everyone for again taking a moment with me to just take a break. Again, thanks for the subscription over there. I kind of missed you on the stream, who you are. Give a shout out just to announce yourself, say hi, keep me entertained. So we got about 2 minutes just before the race starts. Well, technically over a minute before the race starts. Apparently we have a reverse grid per class scenario, so those individuals that actually finished at the top of the race last week, got their winning results at Zolder, has to start at the back of the grid. So just to give you a brief overview how this works, Meyer, who is the man that got his winning victory last week, followed by Musa, Bauer, Serodia. They currently sitting in 17th, 16th, and 15th position, and the same accounts for like the likes of Pieterser, Cordier, De Jager, Van Wyk, and then of course Young. These boys are sitting way at the back, and in front on pole position today, we have Naval, Duprier, and then of course Venter there in third position. Now, from all standards and how we've run this series so far, short grid start, this is no free lap run for everyone. These guys are going to kick it off in the next 10 seconds, and before we do so, I'm just going to give a big shout out to everyone on the stream. Thank you for watching, and of course a big shout out for Motorsport South Africa, the boys that are bringing some racing on a local platform in South Africa. Antonio Gamble, have an awesome race everyone. Jason Farmer, my boy, is being shout out on the chat, so if you want to give a shout out, put it on the chat. I will try and get to it as best I can. Let's get ready to, as you say, rumble. Green light on the go. Naval on point, taking the lead from race positions. I'm going to try and capture everything as best as I can. I'm assuming the hotspots sits here at the back. These boys that did finish in top last week is going to work very hard and through the whole grid. A bit of bunch up here and there. Naval seems to have broken away quite well. So have Duprier, so have Paul Venter. Ferrara is also there for, and then of course Favir. Just gonna look at it from a log point of view, couple of punts here and there, but everyone's doing quite okay. It doesn't seem very hectic at the moment. Back to the front of the grid now. Gotta find a bit of the AM class boys too. Funnebar, ooh, nearly made contact there with a pro driver, managed to stop his BMW. That was a moment. He's being chased down by Stein, who's currently in 18th. De Jager has made up plenty of spaces from where he started. Now, man, this man is fighting for his championship. Van der Sant not far behind him. He's still got a couple of individuals in between him. Lap 1 looks quite impressive. Paul Venter already putting the pressure on Duprier as it starts off. And Shmiwish, ooh, I can't even pronounce it. I'm just gonna go Shmi again. He's under severe pressure there by Favir. Farmer, who got a big shout out by Antonio on the chat. He's hunting down Buerta, who's ahead of him, making a move on the inside. Looks on it. Does he take the position? Yes, it seems like it. They are still fighting through it side by side. This is gonna be close. He forces Farmer to go far on the out end, puts him under pressure with Pretorius, but Farmer does not want to let go. Looks on the inside, so does Buerta, takes the inside line and capitalizes on the position. Now that opens it up for Pretorius, who's now sneaky and wants to come around on the outskirts. Buerta does not allow that. Now he is defending furiously at the present moment. Just lost the position, and he's got 3 other individuals behind him that's also battling through. So Serodio's back in there, so is Krobler, Bauer, Musa, and Van Heever. Big pack fight here. Oh, contact made there. Ferrari off the grid. That looked to be Krobler or Pretorius. Pretorius had a big incident there. That is not what was expected. Something was due to happen there because they were racing so close to one another. The guys that got out of it is definitely Farmer, Buerta, Pretorius, Buerta going back into the pit box. Bauer up in the mix. He's doing quite well. So is Musa, making headways here and there. Just want to see that everyone is where they are supposed to be. Mayer, on the other hand, has done his pit stop box. He has just decided the way to do this is to go quick and early in the box. Get your pits done. and then have clean track and air to run off. Now that is quite smart. He is 22 seconds off the grid itself, so he's got a lot of work to do to capitalize. I'll keep an eye on where this develops and how that develops, but in all fairness, I reckon he has made a smart move to the front of the race, and this is where the excitement is. Anyone on stream are not going, let's go Team Martian. Kom boys, kom. Love the Afrikaans there. Brilliant shout out. Go Griffin boys. Another shout out by Antonia. Necro getting let's go GSRT boys. Yeah, big shout outs. Try and find them as best as I can. Currently looking at Dupria, who has lost the position to Fenter. Fenter currently in second position. Neville is definitely in first, still doing very well. Ferrara under severe pressure there by Shmi. This is player one racing versus Logistical Nightmare, and he's got Hybrid Racing in 6th, followed by Farmer in 7th. So good group battle developing here. Sorodio on the other hand fending off another individual from Hybrid Sim Racing, which is Krobler. Musa making headways forward as he moves towards the front of the grid. I'll go here where the big action is. Ferrara versus Smee. And then of course we have Pavir not far from him. That's a 4-way, 5-way battle at the moment. They are all hunting down Ferrara as we speak. We've got a bit of good mix of cars there. The Ford versus Audi versus Ferrari versus another Ferrari. Boys looking quite good on the track. Dave Young on the other hand, he's making his way forward. He's got Robson ahead of him. Now Robson's driving for LNR 2, so these are two LNR boys battling it out. Now we could see some team positions working out here because they need to do as much as they can to catch up on Buerto, who's currently leading the AM class today. He's in 11th place, but first on Pro-Am, which is a phenomenal start for him. So happy go forward. Current leader of our season, which is the Jager. Now he's done his pit stop, doing almost the same as what Mayer has done. So get out, get your pit stops done, and then make up the positions as you move forward, which I think is quite clever. 60 minutes of racing, anything can happen. It is how you manage your pit boxes versus setting your lap times, and then of course clear air, because there is literally nothing in front of this man who won last week's race. So I reckon that is a brilliant start for him, and I think that's the best idea that you can get at this moment. So to the front of the grid, this is where of course all the action is today. Farmer battling it out. He is trying to move forward, but simultaneously is very well aware of the threat that surrounds him by Favir, Sorodio, Musa not far from him. Now of course this is a very difficult track to overtake. Not a lot of opportunities at hand. You have to set it up very nicely. Sector 1 is all about setup, so that you can try and capitalize within Sector 2, because if you are too far away, you will not make any headway. Excuse me, and it's just not that easy. This is where you need to be as close as you can to the driver ahead of you to try and take the inside line and then move forward. But as far as we can see, both the guys, all the guys here are just close enough to each other that they are not making enough headway. to do what they can do and take the positions. Going back, Robson, Stein, Young, those guys have done what they needed to do log-wise. Everything looks quite well. Bit of contact here and there between the guys, but everything has settled from about the 5th minute. So nice, quiet, good racing on track, on view. That gives me the opportunity. Yeah, Antonio, I'm with you. This reverse grid messes up with the mind. I am completely in agreement with you. It's hard to pick it up because you've got to like just focus on understanding what has happened. I mean, if we take back on what we did and what has happened on last week's race at Zolder, Meyer, Musa, Fleming, Serodio, Rowe, Domenico are the boys that probably captured in the top 6 in the Pro Class Series. And then from a Pro-Am point of view, we had De Jager, Van der Stand, Young, Scruton, Theron, and Buerta. Now it's all messed up everywhere else, so they have to have a different strategy to figure out how to win this race and get points, because this is a 3-race championship. The next race we go is Kyalami on the 17th of November, which is 2 weeks from now, the final race event in itself. And let's just have a look and see the configuration in general. There will of course be practice session for 20 minutes and then of course a 60-minute race again. No pit stops allowed next week, so I reckon they're going to throw out this whole reverse grid again. So where you finish today will quantify what you do next week. So I reckon a bit of strategy will be involved here to try and get yourself positioned for that first place pull-off at Kyalami, because Kyalami will be just as difficult to do any passing maneuvers, taking opportunities. There's 2 probable places to can do it. The rest are all just about setups, and if you can't get it right, you're just going to get stuck behind a driver, as we've seen here. So we've got Smee, Farmer, Serodio, Verveer and Buerta just cannot make headways. It's all about doing the best they can. Farmer on the other hand is very, very close there to Smee. Is he going to look on the inside? Takes a dive on the inside. Smee doesn't go defending though, puts him a little bit wide. Slight contact there by the 2 drivers, but nothing to really write home about. Clean, clever racing between Smee and Farmer. Serodio just sitting comfortably in the background, looking at what is developing. He is hoping that he doesn't get enough pressure from Verveer, from of course the hybrid racing masters. But again, a lot of racing still to occur. Back of the pack, a bit of AM class battling here. So of course we got Van der Sand, Peterson on the mix. Stein is under severe pressure here. Van der Sand wants to make a move going forward. Will he take the opportunity to take a big dive here in this corner? Van der Stein does go a bit defensive. Oh, half a dive there by Stein. Van der Sand, so he takes the outside line. Now this is going to be daunting because the racing line is on Stein's favor. He'll take the position, but again in the mix of it, Peterson squeezing in there, telling Van der Sand that, hey boy, I am here. 3-way battle. That has to put Van der Sand back into a defensive position. He nearly capitalized on Stein, but was also shot down purely because of the intervention from Peterson. Oh, Van der Sand going at it again. Stein must have made a mistake because he's all out of sequence there, coming into those coming out of those corners. That immediately opened up the gap for Van der Sand. He is open and gone. Peterson will now have to do the same thing. And he's going to go and chase down Robson. So a lot of work for Finishant, driving for We Are Pace Motorsports. Daniel Buerta for AF Court still in first place. And then of course we have this eluding battle here between Farmer, Shmee. Who Farmer has passed? Farmer has passed Shmee. Shmee is in the pit. So a couple of boys taking the early pit stop box approach. Has to be strategic just to make sure that they get what they need to get. Front of the grid we still have Neville driving for LNR Racing, followed by Paul Venter, and then of course Duprier, and then Ferrara in player one, the man from last week's championship, Meyer in 15th place. He is making up a lot of places at this moment. He's also the man that's got the fastest lap on track. Now his best is, oh, and I've got to go and figure that out again. So 1:33.557, which is phenomenal quick. I think it's about the only individual that managed to get into the 1:33s. No, of course not. Teammate Bauer also in the 1:33s. Kay Peterson also in the 1:33s, as you can see there on the screen. So these guys are doing quite quick laps, capitalizing as best as they can. Who else managed the 1:33 in the mix? No, top those boys, top three 1:33s. Love the sound of that. Meyer still the one, and he wants it. He wants the victory. 3 races for a LNR Cup Championship here at Logistical Nightmare 2024. We have done 2 seasons to try and define who has the potential best to beat the best. And we are finishing it off with 3 penultimate races for the Cup Championship, affiliated by Motorsport South Africa. And I reckon that is just an epic way to end off the year. I'm honored to have this privilege to do this for everyone. It's been many years that we have wanting to have the opportunity to officially make and have champions for sim racing in South Africa. It's been a long awaited trial, and we are there. As you can see, Meyer trying to fight through the grid. He has got Peterson ahead of him in the M class. Peterson opens the door for him, knows that that is not his battle that he needs to fight with. Meyer getting it through. His next hit list is of course Stein right ahead of him. Of course, Stein is in the Pro-Am class, not a battle that he wants to be in as well. So I reckon he's going to make it a lot easier for Meyer. And I'll keep my eye on him as we go along to the head of the grid. More battles forming up. Ferrara here currently in 3rd position. Now he's got a bit of a tough one with him, because he's got Serodio in the mix. Ooh, slight contact there between Ferrara and Serodio. That's a bit of unfortunate situation. Opens up the door for Serodio to take the position. Farmer, on the other hand, not far from him, and so is Favir. Let's just go and see a quick review of that touch and go. That was Ferrara. Eligam it up to the side. They both go into the corner. Oh, accidental touch, and another touch there between the cars. It's just where you had your car positioned. That's sort of where I'm sitting at. Serodio was there, had his nose on the rear wheel there of Ferrara. Ferrara, just the unfortunate individual that got contact by Serodio, and I reckon that is just a simple racing incident scenario. Opens up the door, Serodio can move forward. So Antonio goes, reverse curve, yes, made me well aware that this is, it messes up my mind, and he keeps looking for drivers that were not expected. Yeah, so do I. It is a bit unusual. So for everyone that actually watches this, wow, let's try that again. So for everyone that actually watches the sim racing and follows all the other communities within the stream, it's probably what I would call the hierarchy of where the boys that represent their teams and their drivers and their skill sets would sit. So you're normally aware of how good they are. It's like a Formula One scenario. You won't necessarily see the likes of Max Verstappen starting the grid at 20th positions, fighting his way forward to get the championship lead. Like that is just unusual from any given circumstances and scenario. But today we kind of have that whole mix. The individuals and the drivers that have done all the effort to win last week and performed very well at Zolder started at the back of the grid, and it's absolutely unusual. It just blows my mind. It's hard to keep track. Now this does allow me to go and look at other drivers and then focus on them from a streaming perspective, so which I kind of like. So this week I can look at drivers that I haven't really looked at for ages, which is very good. So as this has evolved, and this will definitely evolve as we go along, and I kind of find it very, very interesting. So if we look at where we are from a grid perspective and where it all started, I mean, in all fairness, Paul Venter, the man currently in 22nd position. So 22nd, he did, I think he started in like first or second. He is down 18 positions after taking his pit stop. So the table have turned. Eventually you will see this whole hierarchy forming into the grid positions if and again, this is a big if you do not make mistakes. So Paul Venter is under severe pressure there by Smee. Smee was ahead of the pack. He went and pitted, so these boys are battling it out. But now to the likes of where we sit at this moment, Bauer is in 10th, and he is the lead car at the present state based on pit stop strategy. So 40 minutes of racing left, and he's making his way through the grid. He started behind Paul Venter, and he is miles ahead of where that man actually is. So I reckon that was really a sweet decision that both Mayer and Bauer has made when the race started. Get into the pit box, get it all done and dusted, give yourself some clear air. I mean, you are bunched up as a few cars in the grid, so you lose a couple of seconds here based on positions from where you started off. Of course, you got lap 1, lap 2 to deal with and so forth, so you will lose that bit of gap. But then do your pit box, get the open air, get out the pit, and then just do what you need to do. Set the lap times, get comfortable, don't make mistakes. And I reckon this is going to be beneficial. If these boys do not hit in the top 5 today, I will be surprised. Absolutely shocked and surprised. Because grid-wise, pit-wise, they sit beautifully at this moment. Mayer moving forward, Bauer moving forward, and then of course Musa, who was second last week, doing exactly the same thing. He's being chased down by Peterson, who is a little bit behind him, but the gap's slowly closing in between them. And again, just keep in mind, Paul Venter started in the front of the pit box, so either something has happened to his race or he has made a severe mistake to lose so much positions. But I reckon the hierarchy is slowly getting to where they need to be. And again, so talking about clear open air, Neville is the man that managed to get the clear open air from the start of the race. And he's doing great lap times, averaging in the 135s. So moving forward without any challenges behind him. He's got a good 9-second delta on Dupree. The battle everywhere that everyone's kind of looking at is still these 3rd, 4th, and 5th place boys. So that's Rodeo, Farmer, and Favir. Oh, Favir's getting very close there to Farmer. And that might have just been a slight error there by Farmer coming out of the corner. Just not enough traction or a bit of wheel spin that caused him to lose some momentum. Pavish, on the other hand, just giving him a nudge and a wink to show him that he is there. Good battles ongoing. Allows me to go back onto the track. Griffin boys. I have a bad memory, so Andre, give me a shout out. Who is Griffin boys? This is a specific driver. I will certainly showcase them. I have seen the name, I just cannot remember now at the top of my head, but I will find them. Yeah, Antonio's right. Front runners are about to see the Mayer onto their rear view mirror. He is moving forward quite quickly. Now he's got a 15-second delta deficit to Skit, so that is a lot to work on. I'm gonna go and calculate what all these pit stops and pit times do mean. Peterson and Robson here fighting it out. This is where the interesting scenario is. We have Dave Young currently in 2nd position for the class. Last week the roles were slightly reversed between Young and Van der Sand. These two boys from Pace and LNR fighting it out for 2nd. They are chasing down Buerta. The man that I have not seen at all is Ulrich. Ulrich is not having the best time today. Aha, Griffin Sim Racing. I found him. Thanks, Andre. So the Jager not having the best time today is at the back of the pack. Probably not his favorite track is where I'm going with, because he's got a few individuals ahead of him to try and fight it out. Now he's chasing down Cordier, who is currently in 8th place from the Pro-Am side of point of view. But the battles still continue. Here we have Smee versus Buerta, fellow Martian Racing, teamed up with Mayer and Bauer, doing the best he can, working their way through the system. Van der Berg deciding not to get involved there with the pro class fighters. Now again, strategically, you are allowed to do that. I mean, if it's not your battle, it's not your battle. Why make it the effort of it? Van der Berg being very clever there, picking his battles very good. But that did put Cordier right on top of him now. So now he's created his own pressure scenario at the back of the grid, which I am fairly certain he did not want in the first place. To the front of the pack, Peterson driving off ahead, but he is being chased down there by Grobler. So Grobler all over the back of Peterson. Good battles going on here in the AM classes at the moment. More individuals to the pit box. This is allowing Mayer to move forward as he takes another position. So he's currently in 6th place. That is one more position gain from where he started, and he is certainly enjoying that for sure. Now did Bauer and Musa capitalize on that as well? It does seem like it. Dupree just coming out of the pit box, so a lot of individuals moving forward as the pit boxes go. As time will tell, it just feels like it's slowly falling into place. We still got 30 minutes of racing left, but I reckon this is very interesting. Boys ahead in the current top 5 has to be aware that Mayer is hunting them down, and he will probably on best case scenario make his moves when the boys have quitted, which is very, very clever. Very clever. So I do hope it does work out for the Jager as well, because he's about the only pro-am guy that has gone into the pit box and taken and done what needs to be done. Yet he's got a bit of a battle ahead of him. Again, fellow AM class driver will not necessarily give him space. Takes the position from Gordier. Gordine had nothing in him to defend that. Ooh, and that just looks like the Jager went off the track coming out of the corner. Oh, that is absolutely awful. Did not expect that at all. Let's just see if we can figure out what is happening. Ooh, takes a big spin. Can't do any more than that. Unfortunate spin there by De Jager. That's gonna put him back into the grid box again. He definitely did not want that, I can assure you, because now he's got warm tires, less grip, and he lost positions. Not ideal in the circumstances. To the front and the back, a bit of action here between Farmer, Sorodio, and Favier. One boy goes into the pit box, the other two stays out. Sorodio went in, Farmer and Favier still out there. Now this is gonna get interesting, man. Climbing the ladder as he does. One more man in the pits takes that position for sure. Sorodio's gonna fall behind him. It's also gonna go behind Bauer. And by the looks of it, it's also gonna work for Peterson and Musa. So these boys, in my sense, seems to be top 5. There they go ahead of him as Sorodio comes out of the pit box. Puts Sorodio probably, as he drops into 10th position. That's a hard one, and I reckon Sorodio was battling it out in position 2, 3, and 4, so that was a probable podium if he did not need to pit. But purely because of that pit stop, he has dropped 4 positions from everyone else. I reckon the top 4 is definitely going to be the top 4 who made the top 4 last week. Reverse grid or not, this is an exciting race. No two ways about that. Give it due justice where they sit, how it is. Mayer moving forward, Sorodio done his pit box. Musa, on the other hand, he is pressurizing Dave Young, who has not pitted yet. Now, this is not for class position, but overall position. And he has to make his move as best as he can, because Peterson is not far off from him. So Peterson will welcome the opportunity for Musa to make a mistake while trying to make a move on Dave Young. Dave Young, on the other hand, driving the way he does, doesn't look like he goes very defensive though, so I reckon Musa is going to take the opportunity through the next corner, maybe do a sneaky dive on the inside. Ooh, that looks like a defensive move by Dave. Opens up, forces Musa to go on the outside. Dave slows down his car, leaves the door open for Peterson and Musa to go through. Again, clever driving. He knows it's not his battle. That, however, did look like he was going into defense mode for the corner, but then reluctantly slowed down and let them through. That did allow Peterson to get far closer to Musa than Musa would have wanted. A good battle going on here between the Honda and the BMW. For some reason, that Honda has got legs on this track, goes on the outside line, tries to get a better run at him for the next one. I reckon all he's got to do is just be patient and set it up. Making passing maneuvers within these sectors is not that easy. So it's all about setup, but not allowing Musa to get away. This is where the trick is on the track at Misano. Now he needs to make sure he gets way closer than what he was before. Taking it from a helicam view, he does look like he is close, but I don't think he's close enough to hit or gap him on a position. He will get some straight line speed here, but he is further than what he would have wanted. So resettle, refocus. A few more corners where Peterson can take an opportunity. Front grid slowly going into the pit box, and again that opens up the door for Mayer. So for everyone that looks at the overall chart, you can see how the front runners are getting to the positions that we would have anticipated them to fall in. This doesn't help Musa if he loses another position to Peterson. The battle for the championship at the moment is between himself and Bauer. Peterson being a thorn in the bush. Also want to be part of what is fighting for in the overall championship. I'm going to keep my eye on this. This time around, Peterson is much closer than what he was on the previous lap. The delta is short. Now he's just got to get a clear run. Does Musa go defensive? At this stage, he does not. Peterson looks on the inside, takes a deep dive. Oh, that's going to be close. Side by side as they go through the corner. Reckon there was a bit of contact there, but it doesn't look like it. Peterson makes the move on Musa. Musa decides to not defend that hard. A brilliant move by the two, and I reckon I just want to go back and see how that is. Again, a bit of flashing there by Bauer. That to me, by Musa, that gives me a slight hint that they did make some contact. Oh, this is a bit too long from a 60-second point of view. I did want to go back and understand, but as you can see, this is where Peterson gets very close to Musa. Tries to set it up for the passing maneuver. They come down the straight. He wasn't as close as what I thought he would be, so that is a big dive from the back end of it. Opens the door, pushes Musa wide. I can see the frustration from Musa. No contact though between the two, so very, very clean. Have to admit it, I did make a comment. I went, was there contact? But out of that, there definitely was nothing. As you can see, a reflash image of Musa again, throwing it out there. But Peterson made the move stick. Very, very daring in my opinion. He wasn't there to challenge for the corner at all. Musa being very clever and not going too defensive. If he did, contact would have been made and they might have had both race-ending crashes. So I reckon that was ideal and perfect for both drivers. Probably not what Musa intended to have, but sometimes you gotta be a bit risky to take what needs to be taken. More battles at the back of the grid. Griffin Sim Racing. We have Pretorius versus Holzhausen. Of course, Pretorius trying to fend off Holzhausen from the LNR boys. In general, this is the GSR boys fighting it off. Of course, it's 15th position, but a battle is a battle, and man, I love watching them as they go on. The Acher. Now that is interesting. So, as everyone has put it, even with the fault that, or the spin out that the Acher has made, he is currently in preliminary second position. Preliminary second. I'm not so sure where Dave Young's going to fall out from the Pro-Am class, but that is prelim second position with a hiccup on the racetrack, bringing it home. So he is going to capitalize once again. He just needs to focus on getting it finished and not make another error again. For everyone that's on the stream, the Jager at Griffin Sim Racing 3 made a slight error, and then that caused him to lose a few positions. Now he's got Favir on his back road, opens the door for Favir. That puts Buerta all over him again. That was a bit dangerous in general. I reckon he should have waited until that big U-section corner, because now Buerta has got an opportunity to take that position from him. This is now a Pro-Am battle for second place, and it's all about who has the best tires to finish this off. Oh, as Buerta has a beautiful exit there, far more pace than what the Jager has. Looks on the inside. Is he gonna make a move now? Pushes the Jager out. It's a bit daring to try and make a move on these fast bending corners though. Buerta feeling very brave, but also looking far more comfortable than what the Jager does. A bit of pressure for the Jager. That is not real. Ooh, takes the inside line again. Unsettles the Jager on that final turn. The Jager regains the position again, feels a bit more comfortable. Buerta probably shaking his head, going like, I should not have done that. It's all about setup, Buerta. Patience and setup. On this track, you have to make sure you get it right. Get far closer. This looks much more ideal. I reckon if you get it properly down the straight, you would be able to run it through. As we look at from a top view point of view, is Buerta going to send it on the inside? He does give a big eye look, but not close enough. Oh, that forces the Jager on the outside. Buerta making a move, closes the door on him. Ah, great battles. Can he cut back? Does bring a cutback on it. This is side-by-side action between the two cars at the head into the straight. Buerta has got the inside line that will give him the opportunity to take that position, and he does. Puts the Archer into third place. Great drive by these two individuals. Phenomenal racing at his best in the Pro-Am class. It's just beautiful to see. Created that whole cutback moment through the corner. Had the momentum, speed alongside him to just take the position. Beautiful drive. Absolutely beautiful. More Pro-Am class racing at its best. We back here with Robson. He's being hunted down by Stein, but I reckon Robson probably made a move on Stein and thus got the position into the pro class. Now again, more action here, and someone should have told me that before. So they got Dave Young in the Pro-Am class ahead of him. He has not made his pit box count. Now, Sarodia and Krobler have been chasing each other for quite some time now. Will this create an opportunity for Krobler to capitalize on a position onto Sarodia? Dave, going in the pit box, doesn't want to have any more of that fight. Would be good to know where Dave filters out in the field. Will he be ahead of Buerta or De Jager as they come through the mix? I'm gonna go and have a look at. He's still in the pit box. Gonna check where Buerta is. Buerta coming around. Oh, where's this? This is probably the final two corners. Yes, it is. He is moving. He is moving. This is going to be a slow move because it's such a long pit box. Only making his way through the back end of it. Buerta, on the other hand, coming into corner one. I reckon Buerta's the new lead. It sits out at Buerta in the lead for the Pro-Am division. He can take a victory today, and De Jager probably will sit back in third. Dave Young on the other hand, second, sorry. Dave on the other hand looks to be well settled into third place. So, how the tables have turned today. I am 99% certain that De Jager is just smashing his head on the steering wheel, because one minor incident that we saw on the stream today would have probably cost him the race victory at Misano for the Pro-Am class. Now again, this is not all bad news, because in all general terms it has been phenomenal. Pro-Am division wise, De Jager would probably still lead the championship. Daniel Buerta, who might win today, finished in 6th position last week, so he's gonna gain a couple of points, but I don't think he will be the championship leader heading into the final round. So still a good drive there by De Jager in the AM class. He just gotta keep his head down and run through it. Buerta seemingly might just take the championship today in the Pro-Am division. Now looking at from a pro class, it's been a while. Ooh, Mayer in the mix here with the back markers. Currently in third. I reckon preliminary in first. No two ways about it. This man's coming down the start finish line. Yes, Neville is heading into, it looks like turn 4, turn 5 of Misano. That's only about 20 seconds, give or take, and I reckon that's a whole pit box stop, because the timeline for pit boxes in the pits is about 47 seconds. The quickest time on the pit chart for everyone is 47 seconds. So preliminary, Mayer is probably going to win this race. I cannot see that the likes of Neville who has been leading from the start, and has just gotten a drive-through penalty for track limits, exceeding track limits. He has to drive through the pit stop. That is just going to place him further back than what he would have thought it and ended up with. It's what you would call a double pit stop whammy. That is not ideal. That opens up the door for Farmer, though. You know, he's going to capitalize on a couple of points, but if you take it about 40 seconds or so on the pit box, he's going to drop well behind a few individuals, which would be quite surprising, though. Serodio and Grobler battling out. Grobler looking on the inside line of Serodio as they head into the fast corner. This is side-by-side action. Ooh, brave move in general. Grobler just decided to move away from a potential collision course there. Serodio did not want to give that position up for sure. He was fighting that tooth and nail. Now, who is ahead of him? That's kind of like a back marker in general. Back marker moving out of the way, opening it up for Serodio and Grobler. So, few blue flags was waved. Smee, another driver with a drive-through, goes into the pit box. That's his race ruined in total. Grobler's just got to set it up nicely. This is hard, but I reckon that Ferrari does have the pace to outrun this BMW. We have less than 10 minutes to go for a racing aspect, and I don't think there's much grip on those front wheels of the BMW. It will just get slower and slower and slower. It's too much for a BMW to manage and handle. They've all been dropping backwards. The small rear end engines, McLaren, Ferrari, Honda, just seemingly being in a position to capitalize on today's racing. Not a good track for BM at all. Oh, Grobler takes the inside line, puts his nose in it. They're going to go side by side through this corner, but the racing line belongs to Serodio. A slight nudge there by the two drivers. Nothing severe though. Grobler being the aggressor. Nothing wrong with putting pressure on the driver ahead of you. It's all about racing. You need to make him make a mistake in order to do what needs to be done. Is this the time to recapitalize again? He's very close. Does Serodio go defensive? No, he does not, which will force Grobler to either go on the outside or rethink on what to do. It's just placement of car. Serodio doesn't go defensive, but he's got enough confidence in him, knowing that Grobler will not make a move without causing havoc. And that's of course is class driving. The last thing you want is damage your own race. So it's all about patience. Grobler just has to put the pressure on the whole time. Mistakes will be made. Goes on the inside line again. Great awareness between these two drivers of where their cars are placed and positioned throughout these laps. It's just brilliant. Neville in the pit box. Now Neville was front runner at some point. He's doing what was a front runner, did get a drive through. Now he's in the pit box. Everyone's making moves on him, so Neville falling backwards. Farmer about the only individual that has not done a pit stop. He is leaving it for as late as he can. Again, that does put Mayer, Bauer, Peterson, Musa, Serodio, and Krobler back into the top 5 positions. These two fighting it out tooth and nail, and again, it's good to see where they are. I do not want to go away from this, but respect is being given all over. I'm going to go back to the grid box where we can have a look at Holzhausen versus Favir. So this is a logistical nightmare racing guy with another hybrid masters Favir, and Buerta, the aggressor from a pro-am point of view, says, I am quicker than you. Ooh, that's close. You are going to ruin your race, Buerta. You have got the victory for the pro-am division. I'd say don't do any funny things at this moment. In all fairness, you've got a 9-second gap on your counterpart. Oh, very close, nearly there. I just closed my eyes as I saw that. But it just seems like he's got better grip than everyone at this present state. Now, whether he's gone in and changed his tire, I just don't know. But he is phenomenally quick in his runnings. He's doing low 34s at the moment, whereas everyone else is doing mid to high 35. So I understand the aggression that he's pulling in. He's having the race of his day. This is a victory in pro-am class. The last thing you need is to ruin it for you, considering you got a 9-second delta on anyone in your class chasing you down. You're not going to gain any extra positions by passing pro guys. Hey, is it all for bragging rights? Getting it up there into the mix of the pro boys? Of course it is. It is always a humble, smirky feeling when you beat a pro boy. But these guys are all on great level. The expertise of driving is phenomenal. Looking at the front, there we go, side-by-side action again. Krobler versus Serodio. BMW just has a little bit more leg speed than the Ferrari. Big dive there by Krobler, takes the inside line, closes the door for Serodio. What a move. That was bound to happen. Krobler kept setting it up right there. Serodio fighting it back, says this is not finished yet. A bit of touch and go here and there. It's all racing. Good racing in all fairness. Krobler takes a big dive into the mix there. Let me see if I can get into that again. So look at that dive. Massive dive there. Closes the door on Serodio. Takes the racing line. Serodio not taking it anyway. Moves on the inside line. Takes the final corner. Says, I will take my position the same way back you took it from me, and the battle will commence. These boys are fighting it hard in the final few minutes, and it's not finished yet, that's for sure. Krobler says he can and wants it. He's looking for that spot. So 3 minutes of racing still left, and Krobler did make a move again. That was very smart and clever though. Now he needs to keep that BMW behind him, because that BM has got so much legs down the straight. Krobler holding it as we speak. Takes a longer wide line at this moment, so he's now got onto a better racing line, more grip. He needs to get away from Serodio. Lovely move though. These guys have been fighting it out for minutes now, so fantastic. Serodio did not want to give it up. Krobler did not, just wanted it the whole time. And I don't think it's over. I honestly do not believe that it is over. Buerta, on the other hand, as I said, making move on guys ahead of him. He is really driving back up to 15th positions. He's making moves on pro boys as it goes forward. And as the race has evolved. The race leader is Mayer. Final few turns. I mean, we got 1 minute 20 seconds left of this race. This man started at the back of the grid in the pro class, survived the first lap renditions. Excuse me. Got his nose out of it, straight into the pit box. That's all he did. Straight into the pit box, got clear air, and have just set the time and the benchmark out there. I reckon it doesn't matter where you put him, Bauer, Peterson, Musa, and on the grid, they will come out on top. A reverse grid starting position today from last week's race, and these four boys have definitely taken the game, smashed the ball out of the ballpark, and just capitalized on, I would say it's a beautiful, successful day. I've never seen it. It's phenomenal to watch. Mayer on the final few corners, closing off what I would call a phenomenal race in general. I'd love to just sit back and make some racing videos out of this if I have the time, because this was a class race if I've ever seen one. Krobler, Mayer, everyone on there did beautifully. Mayer coming into the final corner. This is victory once again for Mayer. Unstoppable by all means, takes his victory, followed by his teammate from Martian Racing, F Bauer, car 20 through in second place. Not far adrift, we have Peterson from Logistical Nightmare Racing in third. Fourth, we have Musa in Project Paper, chased down by Krobler, who had great battles with Sorodio. Sorodio not letting it go in sixth. Palmer in seventh. Dupree coming back in eighth. And then, of course, Skitter in 10th. And then rounding off the top 10, Neville, who had a drive-through penalty, would have finished up there for sure. Buerta going to close it off for the Pro-Am boys. Phenomenal drive by this man today. Finished 6th last week, coming back, taking a victory at Misano in the Pro-Am division. Of course, chased down by the Jager. Griffin Sim Racing in 2nd place. And then, of course, De Young taking the final podium spot in that division. Times in general is where it sits at. Oh, back to times. Thoroughly enjoyed that. Just gonna give you all the timetables as we stand. 2 weeks from now, we will have a racing at Kyalami for the final race of the year at 2024. This is me saying a big thank you to everyone on the stream. Brilliant drive, brilliant stream. I seriously enjoyed this, even with reverse grid positions. Kyalami, 17th of November. Big thanks to MSA and of course our sponsor. And now also humble thank you to everyone on the stream. Loving the chat. It was great talking and seeing everyone. From my end, a good night, good afternoon. God bless. Enjoy the Formula One. Catch you later.